When I was a young game player myself, finishing a game was a rarity. You know, the earliest games were unfinishable. They were just loops that eventually beat you down. Then there were games that had ends, but really then it revealed that the game was only 3 hours long and it still cost you $60. So it was almost impossible to get there. And these days, I think everyone's settled on the idea that, it shouldn't be hard to complete. You know, a game these days is almost, it's very rare, Dark Souls maybe, games like these which really fight you, but most games will allow you to complete them relatively easily, and I think the best games then have a second layer of content that's very challenging. So you need to go back in or dig further in the world to find these sort of extra goals for yourself, so you can kind of allow the player to set their own difficulty. I know lots of people on the internet have yelled at me for it before, but I don't believe in easy modes in games. I think that there's an appropriate difficulty setting for the game that you're making, and that if you play with that too much, you actually ruin your game. For example, Gears of War, which is a game about taking cover. On easy, you don't need to take cover, so there's no game. If the game doesn't ask you to use its mechanics appropriately to succeed, then I think it's failed, in itself. And that, like, it's almost like you get your novel and the cliff notes at the same time. You know what I mean? It's like, no, try and read the book first, and then, then we can talk.